Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sophia Lee. I'm a climate journalist and I'm so honored to be here today with Simon Stiell, the Executive Director of the UNFCCC. All right, Simon, we are here in the blue zone in the belly of the beast of COP29. How does this conference compare to no other conference in the world? Why is it so one of a kind? And how do the decisions that happen here from these rooms impact everyone out there?
So what takes place in these halls at the COP, and this is the 29th COP that's been held. This is the only forum in the entire world that convenes all countries representing the entire population of the planet, where the decisions made here directly impact the decisions that governments, that countries make with regard to addressing this climate crisis. There is no other forum for this. So this is a very special place. We know it is complicated because it is complicated. The solutions in terms of how we positively impact people's lives and livelihoods is actually quite simple, what it is we're trying to resolve. But the process is a complex one. But within this, we cannot forget that what we're dealing with is people. 8 billion people around the planet, of which every single one of us is either directly or indirectly impacted. And the most impacted are the vulnerable in every country. But even the wealthiest, even the most privileged, one way or another, are being impacted by this. And those impacts are only going to get worse and worse. And we see it every year, hotter than the last, impacts greater than the last, lives lost greater than previously. Businesses, economies are being devastated by this. And it's only going to get worse unless the decisions that are made inside here accelerate and are able to accelerate the actions that need to be taken place in every single country.
Yes. Can you name out what are some of these decisions that have already been made from all the previous COPs that we're already feeling?
Well, the big thing was in 2015 with the Paris Agreement, which set out a framework as to how the world will come together, work together to tackle climate change. And since Paris, through every single COP up to now, has put another piece of that puzzle in place. And what we saw last year coming out of COP28 in Dubai, with the outcomes there, a very clear pathway. There was a global stocktake which set the roadmap in terms of what we need to do between now and 2030. This year, the focus is on finance. Finance enables those plans to actually be put in place and the levels of ambition that are required. And then next year, every single country has to come back with country-specific plans. So these 3 COPs last year, this year, and next year are pivotal in terms of that global plan for tackling the crisis.
Yes, so pivotal. And even if you've never heard of COP before, you're still feeling the impacts from the Paris Climate Agreement, climate finance, and the NDCs that will be put into standards for next year. So you're from a small island nation. You're from Grenada. Thank you for sharing about how your hometown, Karakou, was devastated this past summer. So how do you focus on the humanity when you are in the depths of so many numbers and statistics?
Grenada is a tri-island state. It's Grenada, Karakou, and Petit Martinique.
Okay.
And Karakou, 13 square mile island, population of 7,000. But that's home for me. And Hurricane Beryl passed straight over it, devastating 98% of property on the island. And returning home straight after that hurricane, and you see how lives are just shattered. Lives, their businesses, communities. It just brings home why this is so important. But what I experience in my own home island is what millions of others are facing in every single country throughout the world. So the pain of my own people, I know, is the pain that's felt by millions of others. And that is what I carry inside me. That's what drives me when you see those human impacts. And that is what I find that strength in terms of what is required in this role and bring in the abstractness of words, of commas, of full stops, of numbers, to actually bring that to life. Because every word and parenthesis that we negotiate in these rooms, as difficult as that is, relate to the lives and livelihoods
Wow.
of people
Yes.
and human stories.
Wow, that's so true. Every word, every grammar, it all represents...
And number.
And number. It all represents a mom, a daughter, a son, a neighbor, a colleague. Yes. So you talk about how we have enough hope, we have enough dreams. We need to get into the action part. What are the biggest barriers in achieving this?
Well, it's what's being discussed right now here at this COP, and what we need to come out of this COP with is finance. Finance is the biggest barrier, but addressing those financial issues, providing the fiscal space for countries to be able to, as well as investing in education, in healthcare, in social protections for their people, their own national development, but also the fiscal space to deal with the climate impacts, is really where we're trying to get to. And here at this COP, with the new financial climate finance goal, is supposed to provide a piece of that puzzle, increase in finance, increasing access to finance, the quality of that finance, going to those communities, to those countries that need it the most, is what we're focused on. And if we can solve this part of the puzzle, we'll go some way toward addressing the crisis. A good outcome here will be a leap in the right direction.
Yes, this climate finance is the biggest unlock in just moving forward into a viable future. You mentioned that the climate crisis is an emotional crisis, and we have enough hope, we have enough dreams. How can we have more trust in this process?
That trust building, we have seen developed nations step forward with the establishment of the Loss and Damage Fund. That was 2 years ago in Sharm el-Sheikh. The decisions we left Dubai with in terms of that pathway forward, how we're going to close that ambition and implementation gap between now and 2030 to keep 1.5 alive. Again, that was a historic agreement. Again, with that, the decision to transition away from fossil fuels. That's a major step in the right direction and a trust builder. Coming up with a new finance goal and the framework around it will be another step. And when countries return next year with their NDCs, their national climate plans, with the means to at least go a good way toward implementing them, again, trust builder. So as we go from COP to COP, and it's not only the pledges and the promises that are made here, but also the concrete action and the steps that are taken and how they are supported within the process will ultimately solidify that trust.
Wow, yes, every COP has been a trust builder. Simon, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all of your work, truly.
Thank you, Sophia. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.